Every year, about 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls. And here's a part that should stop you: 80% of at home falls happen in the bathroom. Now, almost nobody actually stands up to put their socks on. I know that. You sit, I sit. That's completely normal, isn't it? But every once in a while, life doesn't give you that option. Sometimes, like a busy change room at a swimming pool or maybe in the gym, and there's nowhere to sit. Somehow you just have to balance and get your socks on. That's exactly why I'm testing it, standing up on purpose today. Not because it's how you'd normally do it, but because it's a quick, honest check on whether your body could handle it if it had to. And there's a specific number I'll give you in a minute that tells you whether this is actually something to worry about or nothing at all. So let's do it. Stand up and try putting one sock on while balancing on the other leg. No holding on. Then do the other foot. Most people already know which side they're hoping feels easier. So at this point, keep track of which side felt harder. Stick around to the end because there's a reason your back might be already paying the price for this. And it has nothing to do with your back. And there's one more place this exact same weakness shows up that almost nobody connects back to this test. I'll show you that right at the end. I'm Steven, 62, retired. Both my parents developed Alzheimer's, so I dig into anything that keeps people sharp and steady after 60, and I share what I actually find. So here's the thing about this one, though. It isn't really a test of your balance in general, it's a test of whether your two sides are still working the same as each other. Watch what happens on the harder side. That's not just wobbling, that's your weaker side, your weaker leg getting exposed in real time. Remember, I said there's a number that tells you if this matters? Well, here it is. If the strength in one of your legs is more than about 25% different from the other, researchers have linked that gap directly to a real jump in fall risk. That's not because one leg is technically weak. It's because your whole body quietly starts favoring the stronger side in everything you do, and the weak side never gets asked to catch up. And that shows up everywhere: taking stairs without thinking about which leg leads, getting out of a low seat car, maybe reaching for a top shelf on whichever foot feels natural, not whichever one you should be using. None of that really feels like a problem in the moment. And that's exactly why it goes unnoticed for years, right up until a bathroom floor doesn't forgive it and you fall down. When I actually tried this myself, my right side wobbled so badly I had to hop to keep from tipping over. My left side was pretty good. I have no real idea how long that gap has been there. It adds up over years without you ever getting a moment where it's obvious. And that's what makes 30 seconds of actually testing it worth more than it sounds like it should be. So, what do you do with that information? Really, not a long routine, just deliberately using your weaker side on purpose a little more often. Anytime, for example, where you're waiting somewhere, maybe a red light, you're out on the street, or the microwave, waiting for that, brushing your teeth, just try standing on your weaker leg for a few extra seconds instead of your favorite one. When you take the stairs, try to lead with your weaker leg going up. And going down, well, definitely lead with the stronger one since that's actually the safer order. None of that costs you extra time. You're just redirecting effort you're already spending without thinking about it. So give it a month, then try the sock test again and see what's actually changed. Okay, remember I said there's a reason your back might already be paying the price for this? Well, here it is. When your hips don't move as freely on one side, your lower back takes over movement it was never really built to do. Your hips and lower back are supposed to share the work when you're bending and standing. When one hip stops doing its share, your back quietly takes over day after day, year after year, without you ever connecting the two. That That stiffness you've been, I guess, blaming on getting older? For a lot of people, it's actually your back quietly covering for a hip that stopped pulling its weight years ago. And here's the annoying part: once your back's been compensating long enough, even sitting down to put your socks on stops being the easy workaround. I notice it myself some mornings. My back's tight enough that bending forward from a chair is its own small struggle. It's not the easy escape it's supposed to be. Hip flexibility doesn't wait for retirement to start slipping either. Research shows it can start fading as early as your mid 30s. And by the time most of us hit our 60s and 70s, we've lost something like 20% of the range of motion we had in our 20s. If you want to check this on yourself, notice which side you lean on next time you bend down to tie a shoe or pick something off the floor. That's usually your answer. So, if tight hips are the actual cause here, sitting down more, that's not really the fix. Loosening them up is, and it doesn't need to take long either. Stand behind a sturdy chair, step 1 foot back about 2 feet, and gently tuck your hips forward until you feel a stretch in the front of that hip. Hold it 20 to 30 seconds, then switch sides. That's the hip flexor stretch. You can see videos on YouTube that can show more details as well. I think it's worth doing it. Another one. Here's an easy one. While you're sitting, anyways, like watching TV or at the table, try pulling one knee up toward your chest and hold it a couple of seconds, and then switch legs. 2 moves, 30 seconds a day, aimed at the actual cause instead of the symptom. It's worth it. Well, this was never really about socks. It's about bending down without your back taking the hit every single time. Trusting both sides of your body equally, not just the one you've been leaning on for years without even realizing it. But if I'm honest, here's the one that gets me the most. My grandmother broke her hip around, I guess, age 71. And for years after that, all through her 70s and 80s, every single car ride meant someone physically swinging her legs in and out of the car for her. That image, it's stuck with me longer than almost anything else in this whole video. Most of us would rather not find out what this feels like from the inside. I play golf. Maybe for you it's tennis or pickleball, or keeping up on a walk with your grandkids, or actually getting off that cruise ship and walking around instead of watching from a window when you travel. Whatever your version of it is, that's what actually is at stake here. Oh, and that other place I mentioned earlier, it's your shoes. If you've if you're already sitting down to tie those too, that's not a separate habit. I know I do. I always want to sit down. It's the same weak side quietly asking for backup, showing up in a second task you do every single day without ever connecting the two. Next stop after that is one of those long handled shoehorns from the pharmacy aisle. And I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to admit that I need that quite yet. Independence isn't lost in a single day, it's lost one favored side at a time until one side finally has to answer for it. So, which side surprised you? And are you going to work on it? Tell me below. I read every one because getting older, it's inevitable, but losing your independence isn't. Next week, getting down on the ground to play with a grandchild or off a blanket at the park or the beach and actually getting back up again. It sounds simple. Whether you can actually do it says more about your future than you think. Don't just get older, get better. I'll see you next time.